Well, I think I first got interested in politics when I was at school. At the time, there was a lot of controversy, not just in the UK, but particularly in the States, about the relations between black and white people. We didn't have any race relations laws in those days. And I began to see a lack of justice in this. And my parents kind of explained it to me when I was quite young, that black people and white people couldn't really marry because it was just not fair on the children, because the children would be discriminated against. And I just couldn't figure out why they should be. It just seemed to me to be extraordinary. And so that was one of my early political thoughts. My other one arose from my father's influence, because he was a supervisor in a factory, and when our neighbours, who were the operatives on the floor of the factory, went on strike, then people wouldn't talk to my mother, and so it was all a bit difficult. And I thought, well, why is that? And there must be, why are the men striking? They must have a reason for the striking. And my father said, oh, it's all reds under the beds and this sort of thing. And I couldn't quite figure this either, because, you know, they were the fathers of my friends, and they were perfectly normal men as far as I knew. I didn't know. Anyway, so these are the kind of things I grew up with, sort of questioning, and that questioning is what one understands actually as being a political thought. And then I went, probably the most significant thing that happened, I did have a boyfriend who later became my husband, who was very, very political, so that was clearly an influence. But the person who made the biggest impact on me was when I went to a conference when I was in the lower sixth of my school, to a conference called Black and White, and the speaker was the General Secretary of the Fabian Society, who at that time was Shirley Williams. She wasn't a member of Parliament, but she was a staunch feminist and socialist in those days, and I'd never heard a feminist or a socialist speak, and I was mightily impressed, and I sort of thought, that's the sort of person whose philosophy and whose, you know, understanding of life and whatever, politics, that's the sort of person that I think is a person that I could follow, I could believe in. I think I like that. And so when I got to university, I joined the Labour Club, and then, you know, I became politically active in that way. I was in a university imperial where I think we were about 160 girls and about, I imagine, about 4,000 men. So this was a very, very unusual environment, because I'd been to an all-girls school. So I then had to assert myself. So I became the chair of the International Relations Club. I became very interested in foreign affairs. Then I was interested in the environment, because I was a botanist. And in this way, all my sort of political ideas came together. I became a campaigner for causes, but I never wanted to become a professional politician, for the simple reason that I thought it was a filthy game.